So Sony has announced a new state of play for tomorrow, and it's set for 5 p.m. Eastern. Now the interesting part, it's titled State of Play Japan, and it will air at 7 a.m. local time in Japan. This showcase will focus on games developed in Japan and across Asia, and will be hosted by Japanese voice actor Yuki Kaji, who's been in a ton of major anime and games like Ys X Nordics, multiple JoJo's Bizarre Adventure games, and Attack on Titan. If you don't know, he plays the main character. And of course, many more that I couldn't list them all here. Now, if you don't know, in Japan, voice actors hold a much higher celebrity status than they do in most other countries. Many are as popular as our movie stars in the US, so it's clear Sony is going all in to appeal directly to the Japanese and wider Asian markets. They're pulling out all the stops, and I think I know why. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So every week I post over on X a graph showing the latest Famitsu console sale numbers for the past year. And if you haven't been following those charts, you might not realize that Sony seems to be running into a sales problem in Japan. Let's take a look here at the latest graph I posted last week. Now first off, I had to cut off the chart at 200,000 units because the Switch 2 completely blew it up, selling nearly 1 million units in its first week. So just know that those first week Switch 2 sales are actually off the top of the graph. Now looking closer, you can see a few PS5 sales spikes around November and December during the usual holiday shopping season. Then there's a big bump in February when Monster Hunter Wilds came out. But since then, the PS5 sales have generally been lower than the original Switch. There were a few short-lived spikes. One when Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater was launched, and then again when Ghost of Yotei was released, but even then, those boosts barely pushed the PS5 above the original Switch's numbers. Now Ghost of Yotei is Sony's big release of the year, and even that only gave them a brief lead over the original Switch. And to top it off, the PS5 hasn't even come close to matching what the Switch 2 is doing in sales. Now sure, the Switch 2 is the new shiny thing right now, but I think there's more to it than that. I think a big factor here is the price. Now in case you didn't know, Japan offers a Japanese-only Switch 2 that is significantly cheaper than the global region-free version. Unfortunately here, Famitsu doesn't break down Switch 2 sales by model, so we can't tell how much more of one version sells than the other. Now for context, the region-free Switch 2 cost about 70,000 yen, which is around $455 in the US, which is about what we pay for a Switch 2. However, the Japanese-only version, which can only play games in Japanese, costs roughly 50,000 yen, or about $325 US. That's a big difference. And if the rumors are true, it looks like Sony may be planning to follow that same strategy. Now this is all rumor right now, and take it with a grain of salt. Nothing's confirmed until Sony says something officially, but there's talks that Sony might either 1. Discount the PS5 Digital Edition to 50,000 yen, matching the Japan-only Switch 2 price on November 21st, or they may release a Japan-only PS5 Digital Edition similar to what Nintendo has done with the Switch 2. And as I was gathering all the information here, we do have an official report here from Vice, and you can see their headline here. It says, "New leak claims the PS5's about to get a major price cut, but only in Japan." Now their article pretty much covers a lot of the things I'm covering here, so I won't go through and read it, but we do at least have some official outlet reporting on this. But again, I would treat this as rumor for now, but looking at the sales data, it's hard to deny that Sony is struggling to move PS5s in Japan now. And I don't think it's because the system isn't popular. I think a lot of players want a PS5, but when you have the options of a 50,000 yen Switch 2 versus an 80,000 yen PS5 disc edition, it's easy to see why people would be choosing Nintendo. So right now, Sony's biggest competition in Japan is the Nintendo Switch 2. Yes, the PS5 outperforms it technically, but the Switch 2 is good enough and has a huge advantage of portability, which is a big deal for Japanese gamers. So up until recently, when you combined all the PS5 models, the disc version, the Digital Edition, and the Pro, PS5 sales seem to be outpacing the PS4 in its same time span, the first 5 years of the system. But now with the cheaper Switch 2 offering many of the same third-party games, plus a tougher economic climate in Japan, things might be shifting. I wouldn't be surprised if Sony deeply discounts the PS5 in Japan and in the coming weeks to prepare for the shopping season, or even goes all in and releases that Japanese-only version, just like Nintendo did. So what do you think about all this? Is Sony facing a Japan problem, or is this just a short-term slowdown before the next big wave of PS5 hits? And do you think Sony will announce a Japanese-only PS5 at tomorrow's State of Play Japan? And I know this is a lot of information that really won't affect us here in the US, but I do wonder if there will be some type of announcement of a discount for the holiday seasons, or at least maybe some type of bundle that we may see at that State of Play as well. Drop your comments below and let me know your thoughts. And if you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. It really does help the channel out quite a bit. I want to thank you for watching, and be good.